I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on the Spotlight Network, we're discussing On Becoming an Fcking Man by Michael Ulrich. It is a bold and refreshing look at spirituality and masculinity. This book offers men a practical and spiritual guide to navigate life's challenges without the constraints of organized religion. With powerful insights on forgiveness, love, and inner peace, it's a must read for men seeking a deeper connection with their higher power and themselves. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put him in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. Michael, great to see you here today on Spotlight. Thank you for joining me.
Nice to be here with you, Logan.
Got to ask you about the title first off, On Becoming an Effing Man. What made you decide to call the book that, and what does it mean?
I didn't decide to call the book that. About 5 years ago, I was out walking my dog,
Mhm.
and I heard a voice, and the voice said, "Michael, I want you to write a book, and this is the title." So I didn't come up with a title. The title was kind of given to me. So that's how the title came came by. And
Gotcha.
so I'm the type of guy that when I hear things like that, I just kind of go with it. And I don't ask questions.
Exactly. When you get inspiration, go with it, no doubt. And you did, and it's a compelling title, it's a provocative title, and it works. Do you think the book redefines masculinity in today's world?
Um, you know, uh, I think there's a lot of challenges to masculinity. I think society is saying, men uh, are not um, are not valued. That we just do not have a lot to offer the world, and I disagree with that a lot. I think uh, men need to say, "I'm a valuable person, and I have something to contribute to the world."
Exactly. And you've got somebody to contribute to the world in this book, no doubt, and it'll help men on their spiritual paths and their spiritual journeys. What do you hope men take away from this book?
I think what I like men to do is start to feel good about themselves.
Mhm.
Talk about happiness, fulfillment, and that we have a lot of challenges as men. Uh,
Mhm.
Lots of expectations about what we are supposed to do, and what I try to do is, the one of the sayings in my book is, "I cannot change the world, but I can change my mind, and
Mhm.
when I change my mind, the world and I are changed." And that is basically the premise of my book. Change what you are thinking, change what you are feeling, and you will be a much happier person if you do that.
Absolutely. You reframe the way you look at the world and you're looking at a completely different picture,
Right.
without a doubt. What advice would you give to a man who feels disconnected from his sense of purpose?
I think generally a person that feels disconnected and they don't know where to go, it starts with being quiet.
Mhm.
I think if a man would every day take 5 minutes, 10 minutes before the day starts and listen to what's going on inside them. If it's about a bunch of bad feelings, that's okay. Just say, I don't have to live by those feelings. I can look for the goodness in the world. I can contribute to the goodness of the world. I am a good man and I want to contribute my goodness to make this world a better place.
How important is forgiveness? What kind of role does it play in becoming a better man?
Forgiveness. Forgiveness is basically step one.
Mhm.
Um, uh, you know, I'm a, I, I'm a pretty spiritual guy. I do. I'm involved in a Christian church, and back in the days when Jesus was walking on this earth, his apostles asked him one day, "Master, how many times must I forgive? 7 times?" And Jesus' answer was, forgive 7 times, 70 times.
Hmm.
And forgiveness is basically the core. We all have things that upset us, but if we can look to forgive, that will take the weight off of us totally. And so we are not feeling too bad about ourselves.
Absolutely. In your book, you talk about the higher power instead of religion. Do you feel that our relationship with God is outside of formalized religion?
Yeah, I think society right now is not very orientated towards spirituality or religion. People are not going to church right now, and that's okay. I'm not telling everybody to go run off and go to church. I'm not doing that. But what I'm saying is, look at your spirituality in your life. Look at your relationship with your higher power. Try to improve that relationship, and so you will be a much happier person if you can do that.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. And who's your target audience for this book? Young men, older men, middle-aged men?
Well, you know, when you're older, you've done a lot to figure it out. I would say generally anybody that a young man, I would say going up to the age of 40, 45,
Mhm.
uh, that's where we have a lot of challenges. And older people, well, certainly I've talked to them about the book, and I think they would benefit by the book. They many times, because of their experience, have already done a lot of figuring it out. But
Yeah,
I think it's basically for the younger audience.
absolutely. How do you feel men can build healthier relationships by applying the principles in your book?
But I would say generally forgiveness, which you had previously talked about, is a major step in that direction. But it's basically try to take a little time and listen. What is going on inside you? And if something is not good that's going on inside you, then you can take steps to talk to your fellow brothers
Hmm.
about your problems that you're having, and see if you can come up with some answers.
Yeah,
Um, I uh, I think it's okay for a man to ask for help.
yeah,
That's that's really important. When things are not going well, stop and say, "Hey, I need some help right now." And you certainly reading my book is one of the ways to do it.
yeah,
But also talk to your friends about it and say, "I have a problem. Let's talk about it."
yeah. Absolutely. Feels like inner peace is also a big part of your philosophy and a big
Oh,
part of your thrust of this book, finding inner peace within yourself.
right. Yeah. Um, uh, Once I heard those words about writing a book, I kind of set it aside and didn't do anything about it for a while. And then my wife died unexpectedly,
Hmm.
and I moved from Seattle to Portland in 1990. And so I'm down here in Portland, and the pandemic hit.
Hmm.
And I'm an avid ballroom dancer, and there was no dancing. So I said, well, I better start writing this book.
Hmm.
And where the information from the book came from was my uh, therapist, which was the most spiritual guy I ever met. I introduced him to a priest friend of mine, and they really hit it off when they developed a men's spiritual program, which is what my book is based upon. And
Hmm.
they basically said, we're not trying to get men to go to a religion to solve the problem. We're going to try to show them how to solve their problems by changing what they are feeling and thinking. So that's where the basis of my book came from. Then I added some things to the book that I have a section on addictions, which is
Hmm.
very important, I think, for any man to take a look at. I talk about father wounds because we all have father wounds. And how do you deal with father wounds? And so there's a couple of things that I've also added to the book. And that's kind of where uh, I think my book, if a man just takes it and takes a look at it, I think he'll get a lot of insight from it.
I agree. It is a powerful book. It's a helpful book. It'll help men become better men. The name of the book is On Becoming an Effing Man. It is written by Michael Ulrich. It is a bold and refreshing look at spirituality and masculinity, and it is highly recommended. Michael, thank you so much for joining me here today on Spotlight.
Logan, thank you, my friend. Bye bye.
I appreciate your time. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.